We are at the Data Expo in Utrecht, and I'm speaking with Marc Linster, Chief Product Officer at EDB. Marc, can you briefly introduce yourself and of course the status around EDB?
Yes, so Werner, first a pleasure here talking to you, and let me talk a little bit about EDB. So for those of you that do not know Enterprise DB, you think about Enterprise DB the same way you think about Red Hat and Linux. So we do for Postgres what Red Hat does for Linux, meaning making it easy for companies and enterprises to take advantage of Postgres, which we think is the greatest open source database that is around.
We've known progress of Postgres for a long time. It was the successor of Ingress many years ago. But how strong is Postgres as an open source DB currently?
Oh, you would be very surprised. If you look at the Stack Overflow annual developer survey, so that's 50,000 developers responding there, Postgres last year and this year has been the #1, beating MySQL, MariaDB, Mongo, Oracle, everything. So it is the #1 database, most loved, most used, most wanted by developers. So Postgres is going stronger than ever. And we've been at it for 20 years. So for 20 years we've been contributing to Postgres, and we, for the last couple of years, have been the #1 provider of Postgres code. So over 30% of the code in some years comes from Enterprise DB. So we're fully engaged in that, and Postgres is really going gangbusters.
And how is Postgres 16 doing it? You're working on the new version, probably?
Yeah, Postgres 16 was released last year in September. Very successful, so a lot of improvements in parallel query, in management of partitions, and very interesting additions to JSON, which has been a growing feature set in Postgres over many years. And one of the reasons why a lot of people come over from Mongo to Postgres, because Postgres gives them JSON capabilities in a completely transactional environment. And then when we look forward to Postgres 17, which I expect end of September, early October to be available from the community. And in there, again, we see tremendous improvements. One of the really interesting ones is incremental backup, which was always something that Postgres was missing when compared to Oracle. And now that we're seeing more and more users getting into 20, 30, 40, 50 terabyte data sizes, I think the largest customer that we have is over 200 terabytes in a single database actively used. You can imagine that incremental backup is an enormously important thing, because now you can do daily backups and much faster recovery. So Postgres 17 has a lot of interesting things, and so EDB Postgres Advanced Server, which is our proprietary Oracle-compatible distribution of Postgres, also adds things like compatibility with Oracle's XML type, Oracle's XML DOM, and B-file, and many other things. So, people come to us, people come to Postgres because they want to save the money, they want to get off proprietary. That's the reason we're so successful with developers, but also commercially extremely successful.
And if you look at the Netherlands, in which sectors do you see most of the deployment?
Netherlands and also Belgium, a whole lot of work in public sector. And we really welcome that, because public sector is really taking on its responsibility to provide greatest services extremely highly available at lowest possible cost. And when you see why people come from Oracle to Postgres, well, they do it because it's about 80% cheaper. And now you get extreme high availability. You can do 5 nines of availability with an open source based solution. Right? I mean, imagine, how much people paid for Exadata and RAC, etc., and now you can do that at a fraction of the cost. That's why people come. And the second biggest sector that we have in this region is financial services. It's the same reason again. They need to support more and more transactions. They need to support microservices. They need to deploy wherever they want. They need to deploy quickly, and they need to do it at a reasonable cost with support. So that's really what drives tremendous success in both of those sectors for us in the Netherlands and in Belgium.
Well, buzzword nowadays is AI, Gen AI. How are you guys coping? How are you keeping up?
Oh, we are launching what we call EDB Postgres AI, which is an extension of Postgres that now encompasses AI and analytics. As I told you before, Postgres has won the race for transactional databases. There's no question about it, right? But the next thing is how to get value out of the data, right? All the data is, or not all the world's data, but a large part of the world's data is now in Postgres. All right, how do you get value out of that? And the answers there today are analytics and AI. And that's exactly where we're going. We're opening up Postgres to analytics workloads and to AI workloads.
Well, Mark, thank you very much for the interview.
Thank you, Werner. This was a lot of fun. Thank you.